Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across to the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life. Australia's been a long-held dream for Karen McDermott. Back in 2004, she and husband Alan and children Bradley and Zara were all set to make the move. And then Karen had some devastating news.
I discovered a lump in my breast and went to the doctors, and it turned out I had breast cancer. When you get something like that come along, your thoughts of immigrating just go straight to the back of your mind.
5 years on, Karen's fully recovered and determined to press ahead with their travel plans. But is adventurous dad Alan ready to leave the past behind?
Karen's illness has made us seriously think, should we prevent ourselves from doing something that maybe is going to niggle us for the rest of our lives?
And can they afford their ambition of running their own business in Australia?
We need to turn over something like $200,000 per annum. To do that, you've probably got to buy a business that's, I don't know, around about $400,000. That's going to make it financially suicidal for us, I think.
So will the McDermott's dream turn into a nightmare, or will they end up going where they're wanted down under? In the current economic downturn, Australia's a strong draw. Last year, over 60 Brits a day made the move, taking advantage of the skills shortage. But how carefully had they thought about their big decision? We followed another 20 British families as they test out a dream of a new life down under. They have 1 week to find out as much as they can about homes, work and lifestyle before voting on their future. Will they stay in the UK or move to Australia? After battling breast cancer, Karen McDermott, with husband Alan and their children, still dreams of a new life in Australia. Alan's a senior manager for a large IT company, but for him, work is a means to an end. He has a busy social life at his local tennis club and dabbles in DJing with his friend Roy.
Although I really enjoy my job, it's different every single day and it is challenging. I feel that sometimes it impinges slightly on the social side.
For Karen too, it's important to slow things down a bit.
When you live near London, life is so fast-paced. It would just be nice just to step off that merry-go-round and do things at a slower pace and enjoy doing them.
Karen has high hopes for a better way of life for 11-year-old Zara and Bradley, who's 7.
I want them to be children and enjoy their childhood rather than, worry about the next test that's coming. And from what I've heard about Australia, they approach their education differently. It's not just about the academics, it's more of a rounded education.
Bradley's a talented tennis player and has his own ambitions for Australia.
I want to play tennis quite a lot there because it's one of my favourite sports and I don't want to miss out on it. If I'm famous, I could play in the Australian Open.
But at 45, Alan and Karen are too old to get a skilled migrant visa. The only way for them to realise their dream is to buy a business in Australia. They've always wanted to run a coffee shop, but neither has any experience, quite apart from the financial outlay.
Certainly means that we'd have to make an investment, so we'd have to sell up here. We'd have to segregate some of our money to buy a business, and it's therefore important that we'd make that a success.
It's a huge step and there are more than money worries on Karen's mind. Although she's been given the all clear, her health is still a major concern.
Being through something like cancer, it is always on your mind. Is it going to come back? I'm hoping. We don't have any more problems like that, but you never know.
For Karen too, friends and family are an integral part of life in the UK. Without the support of loved ones like sister Andrea and mum Sylvia, recent times would have been a lot tougher.
The things that I find most difficult to leave, obviously, are the friends and the family and the things that are familiar to us. But we've been thinking about this for such a long time now that I've been through those scenarios in my mind, and I am going to miss everybody desperately. But we want to do this, so it will be a fantastic new beginning for us.
We have 3 different lifestyles for the family to sample. One in the country, one in the city, and one on the coast. First, let's take a look at the country lifestyle. With rolling vineyards, national parks and acres of open bushland on offer, the South Australia countryside promises a fantastic way of life, and it's right on the doorstep of the city. Property in the hills surrounding Adelaide is desirable and prices have risen in recent years. A 3-bedroom detached home will cost you around £320,000. You could sample a day working at this popular sandwich bar.
Hi, I'm Dot and this is my husband Bob.
Good morning.
And this is our snack bar cafe that we run on the outskirts of Adelaide.
Our busiest times usually start at 7 o'clock when we open. We've got a coffee rush, we've got morning teas for all the businesses and locals around here, and our lunch rush usually goes from about 12 till 2. We do a great range of all fresh foods and we've got the greatest coffee in Adelaide.
It might seem like we work long hours, but really it doesn't seem that bad. And Adelaide's a great place to live in. There's heaps to do, everything's handy, and the best part of this job is we get the weekends off and I get to spend a lot of time with grandchildren and family.
This is our business. If you like what you see and you want to do something similar,
come and talk to us. We're here and we'd love to see you when you come to Adelaide.
So that's the kind of lifestyle they can enjoy in the country. Let's see what's possible in the city on their budget. If you love food, you'll find Adelaide a tasty destination. Its city centre is home to the largest undercover fresh produce market in the Southern Hemisphere. If the tills of your business are ringing away, you might opt for a home in downtown Adelaide. City property isn't cheap. Family homes in the central suburbs cost upwards of £300,000. Located on the edge of the market is this bustling cafe run by owner John Veludis.
Hi Karen and Alan, I'm John. This is Zuma Cafe, a busy little cafe in the heart of Adelaide. I'll just run this out and I'll be back to tell you all about it. Here we are.
Thank you.
Running a cafe is hard work, but it's also a lot of fun. Get to meet great people, be your own boss and enjoy yourself at the same time. In hospitality, a good team is everything, and a happy team means happy customers. Happy customers, good profits. Karen and Alan, please come here. The coffee's on me. I'll show you around.
It looks like their life could shape up pretty well in the city, but what about a new life on the coast? Sandy white beaches and picturesque views are an everyday part of Adelaide's coastal life. Fishing, windsurfing or just a seaside stroll are all there for the taking. You might consider a home in the popular coastal resort of Glenelg. Properties here are close to the shops and cafes of Jetty Road as well as the marina. A 3-bedroom home a stone's throw from the beach will cost you upwards of £320,000. A short commute inland brings you to this cafe owned by Lisa Fabry, whose accent is strangely familiar.
I hear you're thinking of starting a small business like ours in Adelaide, so let me tell you a bit about it. As you may have guessed, I'm from England too. We took over this cafe about 5 months ago now. It's a family-run business, the whole family gets involved, and we just have a great time. The best thing about running a business like this is definitely the customers. There's so many lovely people here in Australia. They're so friendly and accepting. So if you do decide to come to Australia, I'd love it if you come and spend a day with me here and I'll show you what it's all about.
So there were 3 possible options for the McDermott family to try out in Adelaide. In the country, where there's a fantastic outdoors way of life and a welcome from Dot and Bob awaiting them. In the city, where cheaper suburban property and a day at John's buzzing cafe are on offer. And on the coast, where they'll experience waterfront living and expat Lisa will show them the ropes. So 3 very different possibilities for our family to try. So which one did we decide would suit them best? The McDermott family sampled the coast option for their trial week in Adelaide. After so many years thinking about a new life in Australia, would it live up to their dreams? A long and tiring 33-hour journey doesn't get them off to the best start.
We've flown halfway around the world and we ended up getting to Sydney 5 minutes early. And we've just had the domestic flight from hell. The first one got cancelled and the second flight was 3 hours late. So, and anyway, it wasn't really late. We're here now.
But the delay hasn't put Karen off and she's ecstatic to touch down on Australian soil at last.
I just can't believe that we're here. After all these years of looking into Adelaide, we're here. We've made it.
With such high hopes, can the week ahead really live up to their expectations? Adelaide is the state capital of South Australia, and the family are not the first Poms with aspirations to live there, as the city was settled by the British in 1836. Today, Adelaide has a population of over 1 million people, making it the 5th largest city in Australia. For their week trying out the coast lifestyle, we found them a 3-bedroom house in Glenelg South, a popular beachside suburb. The house is an old-style property with living accommodation arranged off a long hallway. It has everything they could need, and most importantly, it's in walking distance to the beach. They can't wait to get inside and have a look around.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Lovely long hallway.
Yeah. Oh, look. Nice bed.
Nice, yeah. Really like an old house, isn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's got that old feel.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. It's really sort of charming, isn't it? Oh, this is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Big rooms, nice big beds. Yeah. They're arguing about double beds.
Oh dear, it hasn't taken long for the first argument to break out. Let's hope the rest of the tour is trouble-free.
Oh, Karen, look. Oh, that's really nice.
This is lovely.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh no, it feels quite homely, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
The family seem ready to move into the rental property, and having just arrived, Alan's thinking like a tourist.
First impression's been really good.
Yeah. I think we're only 3 roads away from the beach, so during the summer period, that would be a very nice place to visit every evening and weekend.
Having longed for Adelaide for so many years, it's hard to believe they finally got the chance to put their dreams to the test.
We almost feel like we know it, apart from we've not actually seen it physically, and now's a fantastic opportunity for us to have a good look around.
It's almost like you've read someone's diary but you've never met them.
Yeah.
It's that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
To actually be here, it almost feels bizarre that we're actually in Adelaide.
Yeah, I know.
Things are looking positive, but will they be able to afford to live here? Tomorrow, it's down to business. Back in the UK, the McDermotts are very comfortable in their 4-bedroom family home in Upminster, Essex. With UK house prices dropping and exchange rates fluctuating, their money would need to stretch to buy a new business and a new home if they were to move to Australia. They hope to have £300,000, roughly 600,000 Australian dollars, to spend on property. Their ideal home would be the same size as their UK one, but in a beachside location with a pool. Given current prices in Adelaide, this could be a tall order. We found 3 properties to give them an idea of what they could really afford if they made the big decision to emigrate. Property 1 is just down the road from their rental accommodation in Glenelg. It's just 5 minutes from the beach and has 3 bedrooms and the all-important pool. It's on the market for 620,000 Australian dollars, around £325,000. Alan's not getting a great first impression.
Oh, it's a prison. Look, it's got bars on the window.
Say that.
Oh dear, but hang on a minute, here's something that might change their mind.
Oh, look.
Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, well, now, children, this puts a different perspective on the place. What's the water like?
It's really cold.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it is the middle of winter, Bradley.
See, that needs a little bit of work doing down there. Yeah. All this moss.
Alan's already spotted room for improvement.
Looks like you might have to get the paintbrush out, children.
Let's hope the inside's in better condition.
Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it?
That's lovely.
Actually.
It's so different to the outside, isn't it?
It is.
But Alan's still not happy.
Because it feels, just feels on the dim side, doesn't it?
In the first bedroom, suddenly Karen's eyes light up.
Karen,
Is that a closet?
walk-in wardrobe.
Yeah.
Your ultimate desire.
Right up my street.
Well, at least somebody's pleased. This property has 2 further bedrooms, but are they as big as the McDermotts would like?
It's quite a small room, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
very small. It's right for like a guest bedroom, but I think for one of the children to use it all the time, it's a little bit too small.
Yeah, I mean, let's move on. Look, this fire's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
That's very
I
nice.
do like that.
It's a surprise to find a fire, but given the cold Adelaide winters, it's a must. In lots of Australian homes, open plan is the norm, and this cosy living room backs onto a very modern kitchen.
Kitchen's nice. It's all one room, isn't it? So
I think I prefer a lounge that's segregated off from the kitchen.
A separate lounge as well.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you could be in luck. Down at the other end of the corridor leading from the lounge, there's a spacious living area.
A surprise. There is a separate lounge.
Yay!
Oh, it's a study lounge. Oh, this is.
Oh, that's really
very
good,
big,
isn't it? Yeah.
It's very big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things are looking up until Alan looks up.
Fluorescent strips. Not my cup of tea.
So, after a good look round, what do the McDermotts think of property number 1?
Personally, I don't really like the place. It is 500 metres from the beach.
Even so, I don't feel that it's close enough to the sea. If we're going to live by the sea, I want to live by the sea.
You look in the water, don't you? Yeah.
I'm quite shocked at how pricey it is around here, and you don't really get a lot for your money.
Space is at a premium in properties by the coast, and they always cost more. So maybe the family will be happier with property number 2. It's in Aldgate, a town in the hills surrounding Adelaide, around a 25-minute commute from the city. The McDermotts are after space, and this property has plenty of it, but it comes with a price tag. This 3-bedroom home is on the market for $680,000 Australian dollars, around £355,000.
Wow, this is nice.
Ooh,
this is lovely.
fantastic. Ah, this is
More like
lovely.
it, isn't it?
Yeah. Couldn't you?
This is better than the last one.
This is really nice. Yeah. Oh, we do like this.
This property appears to be much more up their street, even though it's 20 miles from the coast. As with the last house, the kitchen and living room are open plan, but this time Alan doesn't seem to mind.
I could see myself cooking in here. I really could.
Yeah.
But it's lovely decorated.
Even the kids seem taken with the place.
I love this. Oh, so do I. Daddy could be cooking here. And Mummy cooking one of his famous Rogan Josh.
Well, the kitchen gets the thumbs up, but what about the rest of the house?
Well, this is quite spacious, isn't it?
This could be, I don't know, could it be like a study type place?
I think it could be probably a bedroom. You probably use it as the office as well.
Yeah.
So far, so good. And they seem to have forgotten about wanting a property on the beach.
One thing I've noticed about the rooms, that there's no heating. There's no heating and there's no air conditioning in any of the rooms so far.
Look at that.
So we need to understand.
Bathroom, little toilet. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is a really big bathroom.
The traditional style bathroom is to their taste.
Fantastic.
This is really nice. Lovely.
That's lovely.
Look at the feet on that bathtub. Lovely.
And once they see the size of the garden, they can't wait to get outside and explore.
They'd have great fun out here, wouldn't they?
I think they would.
Ever practical, Alan spotted some potential problems.
Hear the train in the background?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm not so sure about.
What, the road you mean, or?
Yeah, you've got the road and you've got the train running along there as well, which is which I suppose you don't hear it from inside.
You don't hear it at all inside.
But if you sat in the garden, particularly weekends, might it grate you?
I don't know.
And this view of other people's roofs. Not sure about that as well.
They love the house, but not everything in the garden is rosy.
I think the building on its own in isolation is superb. We really like the inside, it's very spacious.
Beautiful inside.
We like the garden. There are some downsides. I don't want to sound negative, but it is a long way away from everything. There's no shops that are in walkable distance.
Yeah, I mean, some people might like that, but for us, we like to be sort of reasonably near to civilization, don't we?
We do.
This is really, it's been a bit of a learning curve, hasn't it?
And for Zara, there's one important thing missing.
I think we would rather a swimming pool though in the garden.
Well, there you go. That's something we need to consider.
That's something we thought was the norm, given in Australia, and we're not sure it is now.
Adelaide property is turning out to be a reality check for the McDermotts. Will house number 3 help them make up their minds? Situated in the city suburb of Woodford, this 4-bedroom house is older in style and needs updating. It's the cheapest of the 3 properties and is on the market for 600,000 Australian dollars, around £315,000.
Oh wow, look at this.
Fantastic.
Got everything.
This is
Yeah.
a study, isn't it?
Yes.
A study.
Like it?
Yeah,
It looks like a split level home.
it does, doesn't it? It's going to be an interesting home,
It
isn't it?
certainly is.
This is going to be interesting.
Is this a games room of some sort?
Oh yes, we can spend a bit of time in here, couldn't
Would
we?
you want one of these, do you
Yes.
think? It's a nice feel, this room.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's looking promising, but will the upstairs layout suit the family? Alan's not sure about the decor.
It was a bit 60s.
It does, yeah. It feels very, very 60s.
One thing I would say is, when you stand outside a property, you normally comment on the brickwork, but looking at the brickwork internally, it makes it feel a little bit dull and dark.
I think a lot of Australian homes have got this
Have they?
internal
Yeah, but it's a
brickwork
dark
effect.
brick, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it really does dim the place down.
Oh dear, the heavy Ramsay Street-style brickwork leaves a lot to be desired.
It's a nice sized kitchen.
It's quite nice, isn't it?
Needs updating.
Yeah, it does need updating, yeah.
It does.
Everywhere they look, they see work to do and money to spend. At least the master bedroom's a decent size.
Yeah, because you've got the walk-in wardrobe, you don't need a massive room, do you?
No, you don't actually. Ensuite bathroom.
But again, it needs updating, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Maybe the garden will have that much-needed wow factor.
Hey, look, there we are. Barbecue area.
This is nice and tidy, isn't it, around here?
It's just quite a small garden, really.
Yeah. So I expected it to go back much further.
Yeah.
In Australia, you'd think you'd expect triple the size easily, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
The family had presumed that a big garden with pool would be the norm in Australia. It just isn't the case. Overall, Property 3's left them unimpressed, and their high expectations of how far their money would stretch are not being met.
I think compared to our property at home, this doesn't really stack up for me. We've got what appears to be a lot more space. We've got it on 2 levels, so it's almost double the size.
Yeah.
And we've got a garden that's probably expanses twice the width and 3 times the length. So to us, that feels fairly closed in.
But then again, this is half the price of our property at home.
Yeah.
So it's obviously not going to be a direct comparison for us, is it? So we're spending less money. Then I think if we keep comparing, then we would always be disappointed with what we see.
Words of wisdom from Karen, but they can't hide the fact that they found the property they've seen very disappointing.
You think, I'll come out here and find something absolutely fab for next to nothing. And you then suddenly start to feel that, I think we're going to have to come out here and work just as hard as we work in the UK. It's knocked a dream into a bit of a reality check, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely has.
Things are a little bit more expensive than we first thought.
They're a lot more expensive than we first thought.
Yeah.
The beach property in Glenelg was expensive for its size. The family fell in love with property too, but it was too remote from the city, and the third house fell short in every respect. So after all that, can they still see themselves moving to Australia?
Based on the properties that we've seen today, compared to our property in the UK, our decision is... England.
Australia.
It's a 50-50 split, and Karen is voting with her heart. What does this mean for the McDermott family's dreams? After the shock of Adelaide's property prices, it's vital for Karen and Alan to be sure their idea of buying a business is going to work. But do they really know what they're doing? Visa requirements mean the McDermotts would have to buy a company outright. Their dream is to run a coffee shop, but neither of them have any experience of the work involved. After dropping the kids off at a local tennis club, Alan and Karen head for a small neighbourhood cafe to try their hand at the daily grind of running a business. And already nerves are beginning to kick in.
I've been a bit worried about it, especially if they try and get us to use one of those coffee machines. I don't quite know how we're going to get on with it.
Well, that is kind of important. Alan is thinking strategically.
but it will give us a good opening, I think, into the operational side of things. You know, what it's like actually dealing with the public and putting up with the rush hour and the peak times, and I think that's going to be quite interesting.
The pressure's on as this is their chosen way into Australia. It seems amazing that they've come halfway round the world to get to grips with a cappuccino. Proprietor Lisa Fabry wastes no time and puts them straight to work.
Nice to meet you.
First things first, as Chef Manu makes sure Alan is suitably attired.
You know how to put it.
Oh, do we put it around the front?
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. Nice and tight.
Yep. Don't want it to fall down, do I?
While Alan is getting stuck in the kitchen,
Hi there, what can I get you today?
Karen is preparing to face her fear of the coffee machine.
Are you sure?
Things start to heat up in the kitchen as the lunchtime rush begins. Charged with burgers, samosas, pizza and salads, Alan is feeling the pressure. Meanwhile, Karen is wrestling the coffee machine under Lisa's watchful eye.
Get the coffee nice and smooth. Yep.
Always conscious of the finances, Alan appears to be a little stingy with his portions. Chef Manu soon puts a stop to that.
Let me just check the...
Generosity. You need more.
More?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Really like. That's really healthy food. That's really good for your brain.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
you want a lot.
Well, I definitely need more of that then.
I think Alan's loving his experience of being in the kitchen. It really is his thing to be out there cooking, and especially for other people, he's just thoroughly enjoying it, I'm sure.
Been doing this for a few hours now, and you know, at the moment I'm enjoying it, but I'm sure at the end of the day, when my legs are aching and my arms are aching, I've probably cut a few fingers off. I suspect that I might have a different view on life. You know, burger coming through.
While Alan and Karen are finding their feet in the cafe, Zara and Bradley are fast on theirs around the tennis court. Back in the UK, the kids love to play at their local club, and Bradley qualifies for extra coaching from the Lawn Tennis Association. The outdoor lifestyle and coaching opportunities in Australia could really raise their game.
I think Australia is definitely better than England because it's got everything England has and more.
But Bradley's aware of a difference of opinion.
Our mum really likes it, but our dad's just 50-50. He's not sure.
And do they think their parents could really make a go of a coffee shop?
My mum would be very friendly person to work with, and my dad would be a brilliant chef, but he'd be very demanding sometimes.
Back at the cafe, it's the end of a hectic shift, and Karen and Alan take a well-deserved break to quiz Lisa about the ups and downs of running your own business. Just like the McDermotts, Lisa and her husband had no previous experience of running a coffee shop when they opened their doors 5 months ago. It's time to share a few home truths about what's involved.
You've got to think about the upfront costs of buying a business, but then you're not going to make a profit for quite some time.
Probably a year, I think.
Well, a year would be good, I think, from what I hear.
Is this after you've paid yourself a wage, or are you taking virtually next to nothing out of the business?
Well, what happened for about the first 4 months was that I paid myself a wage and then I put it back in again. So I considered that my investment in the business. But apparently it's really good to be able to get a wage out of it at all in the first year.
Really? Yeah.
Oh dear, that's not such a great prospect.
Do you still get social time though?
With me?
Yes. As a family, do you get switched on?
Not very much at the moment. I still see us in the very early stages of setting up a business, and I don't expect not to be working or a lot. But I think that will get easier because there's so much to put in at the beginning. You've got to lay those foundations.
It looks like a huge investment of time and money would be needed.
I'm always here during opening hours, and I do all the work at home as well, all the accounts and bookkeeping, all the admin, all the baking of cakes and things. I do all that at home.
It's not a 9-to-5 existence. They're beginning to wake up and smell the coffee.
Are you glad you did it?
Yes.
You are.
I have my moments.
The slightly delayed reaction there.
They've enjoyed their day helping out in the cafe, but the harsh reality of running a business has finally hit home.
I think we realised that we'd have to make much more of a financial investment, and we'd have to put in a lot more hours than we first thought.
So how will this affect their vote on work, UK or Australia?
England.
It's a vote for home and a huge blow to the family's plans. Karen and Alan McDermott and their children Zara and Bradley have long craved a new life in Australia.
We've been thinking about this for such a long time now. You know, we want to do this, so it will be a fantastic new beginning for us.
But their trial week in Adelaide is waking them up to the realities of a potential move.
I think we now realise that things are a little bit more expensive than we first thought.
They're a lot more expensive than we first thought.
And after a hard day's slog in the mad rush of a busy coffee shop, Alan and Karen now appreciate the sheer effort and risk involved in setting up a business.
I've realised that actually it's going to be financially quite challenging for us. We need to turn over something like $200,000 to run a business per annum. But should we say our naive approach has been dented severely.
But it's not just about the money, as the emotional cost of a family move to Australia could prove to be the most serious price to pay. The true cost of living in Australia has shattered the McDermott's illusions. But lifestyle is a major part of the family's decision to move. Will spending some relaxing time together focus them on the quality rather than the cost of a new life? The family are spending the morning getting to know Glenelg, and so far it seems the Adelaide lifestyle has their vote.
It doesn't feel like a city, it's more like a big town, but it's just got a really lovely feel.
It's great for the family, great for the kids.
As a treat for Zara and Bradley, Mum and Dad are taking them to a local family attraction. With the hours that Karen and Alan put in back in the UK, this is a rare chance for the family to spend some quality time together.
Okay, let's look at the sea. Can you see the sea? Oh, nice fish.
For the time being at least, life in England seems a long way away. The kids have never been happier, but Karen and Alan can't put the day at the coffee shop out of their minds.
When we spoke to Lisa yesterday in the cafe about not only the amount of commitment and hours that she has to put in, which we kind of expected, it was just the thought of the financial side of things and the fact that she is, not making the money that we would expect her to make. In fact, she's lucky to break even at times. It's a bit of a worry.
As Bradley and Zara run free, their parents are slowly realising that their dream of buying a business, their only route into Australia, is too much of a gamble.
It's quite clear to us now that there's a lot more hours that go on behind the scenes, and actually you have to be open at peak times. So I think the job's probably more like 60 to 70 hours a week. And $400,000 worth of investment.
Alan and Karen are trying to make the most of their difficult situation, and the kids are blissfully unaware. And at the end of the day, they've only got good words to say.
I don't want to go home because England's cold and it doesn't have anything like this. And it's just amazing to be here.
It looks like the children have fallen under Adelaide's spell.
But it's just here that everywhere you look, there's something you want to go to and go in.
So how will they all vote on lifestyle, UK or down under?
Based on the Australian lifestyle we've seen today, our decision is...
Australia!
Whilst their parents are having a rethink, Bradley and Zara have seen their future and it's in Australia.
Buy a house here! Buy a house here! Look at England!
Yes, I want to live here now.
For all the family, this week has proved just how much is at stake should they move to Adelaide. And how will they feel when they hear from the people they most dread leaving behind? We gave the family some messages from their loved ones.
Hello! Hi Karen, Alan, Zara and Bradley. I hope you've had a really good time this week and seen lots of Australia.
Kangaroos.
And kangaroos.
Yeah, definitely kangaroos.
Hi Karen and Alan, message from Mum and Dad to you and the kids.
Yes.
I hope you've had an absolutely wonderful time there. and seen everything that you need to see before you make a really big decision.
To be honest with you, there's no friend like Alan. I mean, he's probably the closest thing I've got to a brother, so, yeah.
Karen, oh, she's my big sister. She's wonderful. She's a very sociable person. She's very outgoing, very easy to talk to, and gets on with everybody, really. She's good fun.
Karen has been a feisty individual most of her life, hasn't she?
Trifle.
Very strong-willed and very positive in what she wants in life. You know, she was quite ill a few years ago. She faced it and dealt with it in an amazing manner.
The courage and the dignity that she bore that illness with was fantastic. She was always up and right, I'm going to get through this day, you know, and was just fantastically strong throughout the whole thing.
Our biggest concern really is her health. If she should become ill, we won't be there, which we were before.
The other thing is the change in direction, not just the immigration bit, but the fact that they're looking to go into a totally different field. I just think it's balmy, but there we are. I mean, if he does it, fine, you know, but good luck to him, and we'll help them as much as we can. But I just think it's not a good thing to do.
I think they would make a go of it, but I would have concerns about how much time and energy it would take and the impact that would maybe have on Karen and the children in particular, because Alan is driven. He would 110% put himself into what he was there to do, but I would have reservations about how much it would impact on the rest of the family.
The main thing on this is that having that person that I know is always there.
If you do go, we'll be with you.
We'll be there.
If this is what you really want to do and this is your dream, then go for it.
I hope you got your sums right, kids, because I'm sure you have, but do double check your figures. That whatever your decision is, you know we're with you. We'll see you soon.
Bye from both of us.
Bye.
When you watch something like that, it just really hits you hard about how everybody feels. Because it's not just about how we feel about being here, it's how it's going to affect those that we might leave behind.
But we'll always love them.
Well, of course we will.
Having seen that video or DVD of people that we know and love and are close to us, I don't think they have got over the shock. In fact, your mum and dad are more concerned about your illness than you are. We're kind of trying to move on. We're trying to, you know, turn over a new page, and your mum and dad are going to live with that.
And you're right, and I don't want to be a sort of a slave to having an illness like cancer. I'd like to be able to put it behind me and just move forward now, really.
It made me feel very sad. It made me think of what I've got and how lucky I am to have everything. Have my nan and granddad always there for me. I've got a really great family and I just don't want to leave them now.
Zara's announcement is a complete turnaround from how she was feeling just a day ago. But the whole week has been full of surprises, and the McDermotts are in a state of shock and confusion.
We've seen so much and done so much in a short space of time. It's just too much. It's information overload. We just need time for it to sink in now.
Having finally made it to Adelaide, Karen fell in love with the place.
It's been a fantastic visit to the city, which I would recommend anybody come here, and anybody who wants to come to Australia, who wants a quiet, laid-back sort of lifestyle, come here. It's fantastic.
But the family's expectations were sorely tested by the real cost of living.
We now realise it's not perhaps as cheap as we first first thought.
Aged 45, the McDermotts' only hope of a visa would be to buy a business. Their fantasy of running a coffee shop ran up against harsh reality.
We've realised that we wouldn't really want to take on that kind of a risk. It's too big a risk for us. Although we came out here thinking that possibly we would do it, it's highly unlikely that we'll go the business route now.
We've realised that it's probably going to be, more time, more hours and more investment than we first thought, and that's made us extremely nervous. Financially, I think, it'd be suicidal for us to come out and do something like that.
But ultimately, it was hearing from family and friends that forced them to confront the true cost of starting a new life in Australia.
You never know what you've got till it's gone, and you think you can wave bye-bye to those people and quite easily, and off we go headstrong somewhere else. But you think, there'd be a lot to give up there. We've got some really strong bonds with people, and it would be upsetting for me, I think, to lose some friends that I had for so many years.
It might be a dream for us, but it could end up being a nightmare for us as well, and for our friends and family at home.
So what does this mean for their long-held dreams to emigrate?
For me, I don't know whether we'll make it or not. So watch this space.
The McDermotts have finally had their chance to put Australia to the test. As their trial week comes to a close, it's time for them to make up their minds in one last vote. Will they decide that life in the UK is the best way forward, or follow their dream and choose a new life down under?
It's been a roller coaster of emotions this week. We've viewed properties, we've worked in a cafe, we've met new people. It's really been a fantastic experience for us, and it's really put us into turmoil now.
It's been very hard to sort of take in how different it is to England.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's going to be a tough decision, isn't it, at the end of the day, because we've had fun, we've had emotion, we've had tears.
So where does the family's future lie?
Our decision is... UK!
Australia has split the McDermott family in two. Bradley and Zara have voted with their hearts, but Mum and Dad aren't prepared to gamble on the cost of their dreams. For Karen and Alan, this week has proved a hard reality check. I could see they'd love the lifestyle on offer in Adelaide, but they've admitted to being a little naive about what running a business could mean. So the future for the McDermotts probably won't include a move down under. Join us again next time and find out what happens when another British family must decide whether to go where they're wanted down under.
A room in Kent is in desperate need of a makeover. Homes Under the Hammer is next on BBC One. And a tight budget encourages a bit of a rethink into Buy or Not to Buy at 11.
Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across to the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life. Australia's been a long-held dream for Karen McDermott. Back in 2004, she and husband Alan and children Bradley and Zara were all set to make the move, and then Karen had some devastating news.
I discovered a lump in my breast and went to the doctors, and it turned out I had breast cancer. When you get something like that come along, your thoughts of immigrating just go straight to the back of your mind.
5 years on, Karen's fully recovered and determined to press ahead with their travel plans. But is adventurous Dad Alan ready to leave the past behind?
Karen's illness has made us seriously think, should we prevent ourselves from doing something that maybe is going to niggle us for the rest of our lives?
And can they afford their ambition of running their own business in Australia?
We need to turn over something like $200,000 per annum To do that, you've probably got to buy a business that's, I don't know, around about $400,000. That's going to make it financially suicidal for us, I think.
So will the McDermott's dream turn into a nightmare, or will they end up going where they're wanted down under? In the current economic downturn, Australia's a strong draw. Last year, over 60 Brits a day made the move, taking advantage of the skills shortage. But how carefully had they thought about their big decision?
We followed another 20 British families as they test out a dream of a new life down under. They have 1 week to find out as much as they can about homes, work and lifestyle before voting on their future. Will they stay in the UK or move to Australia?
After battling breast cancer, Karen McDermott, with husband Alan and their children, still dreams of a new life in Australia. Alan's a senior manager for a large IT company, but for him, work is a means to an end. He has a busy social life at his local tennis club and dabbles in DJing with his friend Roy.
Although I really enjoy my job, it's different every single day and it is challenging. I feel that sometimes it impinges slightly on the social side.
For Karen too, it's important to slow things down a bit.
When you live near London, life is so fast-paced. It would just be nice just to step off that merry-go-round and do things at a slower pace and enjoy doing them.
Karen has high hopes for a better way of life for 11-year-old Zara and Bradley, who's 7.
I want them to be children and enjoy their childhood rather than, worry about the next test that's coming. And from what I've heard about Australia, they approach their education differently. It's not just about the academics, it's more of a rounded education.
Bradley's a talented tennis player and has his own ambitions for Australia.
I want to play tennis quite a lot there because it's one of my favourite sports and I don't want to miss out on it. If I'm famous, I could play in the Australian Open.
But at 45, Alan and Karen are too old to get a skilled migrant visa. The only way for them to realise their dream is to buy a business in Australia. They've always wanted to run a coffee shop, but neither has any experience, quite apart from the financial outlay.
Certainly means that we'd have to make an investment, so we'd have to sell up here. We'd have to segregate some of our money to buy a business, and it's therefore important that we'd make that a success.
It's a huge step and there are more than money worries on Karen's mind. Although she's been given the all clear, her health is still a major concern.
Being through something like cancer, it is always on your mind. Is it going to come back? I'm hoping. We don't have